Good morning, it's Jane, and it's time for WOTWIP and coffee. So grab your whips, your coffee, drink, water, whatever. Mine is coffee this morning. Just because I hadn't finished my cups of coffee. I do 2 of those a day, which I think equals 3 full cups of coffee. So, yeah. I still love coffee. If I had my druthers, I would drink coffee a lot more. All right. Hope you're working on a project that you are not frustrated with. I had a friend who was telling me about their project, and they were really frustrated with it, and they weren't seeing things go their way. And I said, well, put it away and start something new. She kind of looked at me and she's like, I can't do that. I like to work until I get it finished. I said, well, sometimes you need to walk away from it and put it in timeout, then come back to it. So I don't know if she's going to do that or not, but that's her choice, right? As you can see, I am crocheting today. Will tell you the eye is a little bit better today. I can actually see like right around this area in my eye clearly. Yesterday, I could not see it all through that. I could see a little bit like right down in the lower edges, but it's clearing up good. The doctors did want me to sleep like in a recliner if I had one, or put enough pillows and things behind me so that I was sleeping like I was in a recliner. Well, and Thomas had that one piece of what I would call a bed husband, that it looked like a bed husband when it was all together, but then you could take pieces off of it to, like a piece that you could rest your legs on when you needed to elevate your legs, a wedge that you could put behind you so that you could sleep in that with the raised head. So I did get that out, and it was going along real well until about 4 o'clock in the morning, and I kind of fell off it. So I think I did pretty well for sleeping in that way, because that's not my normal position. I kind of do a fetal position on one side or the other side. Years ago, I used to be a belly sleeper. When the gastroparesis started, that was also when my Crohn's had stopped, had jumped up, reared its ugly head, and it felt like I had a bruise on my, I could feel the bruise on the inside, so that when things touched it or when I laid on it, it felt, you know, that feeling that when you touch a bruise, how you have that little bit of pain. So I quit sleeping on my belly at that point, where I'd been a belly sleeper probably since I was a child, up to about 40 years old, that kind of thing. So from there I became a side sleeper. Have primarily been a side sleeper all along. I do occasionally sleep on my back, but I don't normally stay there very long. So sometimes you have to retrain your body, and that's kind of what I'm doing, retraining it. Do I like it? Not a bit. Can't stand it, not one bit. But it is what it is, and I just move on and keep going. So, what are you working on today? Like I said, I'm working on my crochet and the rectangle afghan, and the granny stitch. I had pulled out the shawl that I had started with you guys a couple months ago and had filmed a portion of it with because I didn't film the whole thing yet on what I was doing with that shawl. And I looked at it and I'm like, I really don't like the way it looks. So I yanked that all completely out. And I had sort of started that over before the eye injury. But I've decided to put that off until this clears up a little bit more. Just so it'd be a lot easier to see what I'm doing stitch-wise. But that's what I have so far on the Afghan. Probably should put a stitch... Battery died. Probably should put a stitch marker in there or something. So maybe I'll do that now. If I can find one. See if I can get that off of there. Stitch marker, progress keeper, whatever you want to call it. So I'll put that right there. So I have a clue. So, and I will tell you, Ronin right now is circling me. He wants to play fetch so badly, he can't stand it. Yet he's got his mouse almost clear across the room from me. But he keeps circling in front of me and sitting in front of me, staring at me. That means generally he wants to play fetch. And when he plays fetch, it can be an all-day game as far as he's concerned. You know, can't throw it enough for him. But eventually he'll figure out that the mouse is too far from me and he'll get a little closer to me. It just cracks me up with that. The way that he sits and stares at me. Then eventually he'll put a paw up on my knee and then reach up, try to grab me, or come jump on the back of the chair. Like, I need attention. I really need it. Izzy isn't so much an attention hungry cat. She's content to be all on her own. But when she wants attention, she wants it. And then that's generally when she's carrying her little stuffed toy around and mewling. You know, almost like she's looking for me, even though we're in the same room. You know, sometimes I don't understand the way cats do. Although I've had cats my entire life, sometimes they just crack me up. You know, they leave me going, huh? What? Allergies are kicking up today. I'd already been over for a prayer group this morning, early this morning, and they have a dog there. And I love petting the dog, but I've noticed afterwards I have a lot of issues sinus-wise. Will I say it's the dog? Maybe. But then again, it's that season for me anyway. So, could have been because I was outside for a little bit beforehand. You never know. And happy 4th of July. I don't care what the liberals say. We're not canceling the 4th of July. This is our nation's birthday. And I am extremely grateful for the freedoms that we have here in the U.S. And I'm more than happy to celebrate them. We kind of went around our prayer group talking about what we were doing today. And I kind of laughed. I said, well, I'm going to clean. Attempt to clean. Although I'm staying clear of the broom. No, I'm just opening up my closet door differently so the broom doesn't strike me again. Or strike the other eye. And because I have the cats, when they shed, there are little puffs of white fur all around. And I noticed there were quite a few this week, so I'm like, okay, I need to actually do some more sweeping and gather that up. So I'll be doing that this afternoon, as well as I am starting another round of yogurt. I use the Instapot for that. And generally you just want to set your, it's a mixture of 2 cups of dry milk to 8 cups of filtered water. And you just make sure the milk is really mixed up well. And generally what I do is I heat up some water, mix all the milk in it so it kind of blends better. I use a little immersion blender to blend that up so it gets good and blended. And then I pour all of that into the Instapot. Then you put your lid on. Well, you don't put your lid on. You can put the lid on if you want. But then you either saute or bring it up to a boil to where it gets to about 180 degrees. And then you turn it off and you let it cool down to 110 degrees. And from there you need to add in your live culture, which is either just a small half cup of yogurt, plain yogurt, no flavoring, that has live cultures in it. Or if you have strained your whey away from your yogurt when you did any straining, then you could use that. And you would have a nice yogurt that you would form. Then you would put the lid on with it allowed to be vented. When I'm using the Instapot, take out the rubber seal. That kind of helps with additional venting. Of course, you leave the vent open. And then I generally let it ferment because I have a yogurt setting on mine. Hit the yogurt and I let it ferment for a good 24 hours. And then once that 24 hours is up, you take it, you strain it if you want to strain it. I mean, it's yogurt then. You could use it right away. And from there, you could either add whatever you wanted to it. I do usually divide it out a little bit because I do a lot of different recipes that have yogurt in them. And it calls for plain yogurt, no honey, no vanilla. But then I'll take half of that yogurt and I will actually add vanilla to it, maybe some honey or maple syrup, either one. Either real or fake. You could use either one, or a sweetener, whether it is a non-calorie sweetener or sugar itself. And then you could add berries or whatever you want to the yogurt. Chocolate chips, graham crackers, you name it. A lot of things you can add to it. Generally what I do is I make a vanilla yogurt. And from there I will add like strawberries or blueberries, different fruit, mangoes, you name it, peaches. There are times that I'm like, kind of want a key lime flavor. So I'll use one of the True Lime packets, put that in there. Sometimes have to add a little bit more sweetener to that. But then I'll top it off with crushed graham crackers to kind of give it a key lime pie type flavor, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of ways you can use it up, and that's just what I have been doing this week, and I am enjoying it. If you want a Greek type yogurt, that's when you definitely want to strain it so that it gets that thicker Greek-like yogurt consistency. I did tell you that I need to get a strainer, but that's not in the budget this week, so that'll have to wait. I do have one picked out that I plan on purchasing, and just go from there. And the yogurt strainers that you can buy online, usually Amazon. I think TikTok has some too that you can purchase. But the part that has the strainer is a really fine mesh strainer. So you don't have to use what I'm using right now is cheesecloth, and that can be messy at times. And generally, I use it and then I throw away the cheesecloth because I'm not going to wash it out and reuse it. But, and that gets kind of costly if you keep doing that. So if you're going to make your own yogurt, it makes sense to have a yogurt strainer. But those are some of the things I plan on doing. With it being the 4th of July, here at the river, just down the street from me, there are a lot of people that have their boats docked out there because they're out on the water most of the time or part of the time for the summer. And a lot of them bring small fifth wheel campers placed there so they can come after work and stay, enjoy the river. So a lot of folks during that time, they do set off a lot of fireworks. There is no firework display really in our community. I would have to go to State College or Williamsport. And honestly, with this eye, the way that it is right now, I would not want to be driving home in the dark. So I'll wait till it's healed up for those kind of things. Sometimes you just change your what you're planning on doing based on what's going on. And I'll probably watch some of those celebrations online, those kind of things. Be a lot of fun. So I would definitely be doing that and kind of enjoying the day with the kitty cats. Do I plan on having hot dogs? Not necessarily. Maybe hamburger. Oh, I do have to make some more chaffles. That's what I kind of use for my bread. And I do make the Wonder chaffles. So, and I just finished the last one, so I need to make some more so I can even have possibly a sandwich for lunch. Other than that, lunch would be leftover peas and some leftover Brussels sprouts and cucumbers. And I did see a recipe that I want to try because I'm just curious. And it's for the, what they're calling the TikTok cucumber candy. It's where you take like one of the flavor packets that I use for the water, and you sprinkle that over cut cucumbers, shake it up real well, kind of like what I do with the grapes, and then it tastes like candy. So I was thinking about trying that sometime today and seeing how that comes out. Don't know that I'll do a real big container of it. May just do a little bitty cup or half cup serving to see, what it tastes like. But, I'm willing to try different things every once in a while. Be a little brave with my choices. I hope that wherever you are at, that you are having a safe and a fun-filled 4th of July. My area, they don't normally do a 4th of July parade, although the town over yesterday evening, I believe, or yesterday during the day, they had a parade, and they always have the parade. And basically it's around a tree, the Diatoton tree, which was a symbol of freedom in that area. There's a whole history that goes on behind that, and they kind of showcase that in this parade, and didn't go to it, but I did see some snippets where people had posted online on Facebook about the parade, so that was nice to be able to see a little bit here and there. I would wish that our local television stations would run some of those parades so you could see them. I miss a good parade. Something fun about seeing all the marching bands and seeing the different floats and different things as they come down the pike. As you're waiting to see them get to your area. It's just fun being able to see that. I did, like I told you yesterday, I did pick up some of those smaller balls from the Prayer Shawl Ministry to work on some Afghans. So I'm trying to decide if I want to hold 2 yarns together to make Afghans that way, or if I just want to use different pattern. And I think I want to try one of the, are they called the Day 6 Kids Blankets? I think I want to use one of those stitch patterns this time. So I'm, just kind of looking at that, trying to decide what I want to do. With this Afghan, it's just going to be a, mix of different colors and trying to change it up a little bit. Well, it looks like today also President Trump is signing the big, beautiful bill into law. So, is it law? Existence? I don't know. So I guess we'll see over the coming year. I think it goes through 28, some of the things in there. So I guess we'll see if all the predictions, that the Democrats are trying to say is going to happen. I watched a video this morning about, do you remember way back in when Biden had said that a lot of folks, Social Security, would be getting an $8,000 check, for all kinds of things. And, a lot of people had asked, well, I never received an $8,000 check from Social Security on top of everything else. I said, well, I never figured that I would get one anyway. I just figured that would be something that this administration was kind of lying about, be only a select few that could receive that kind of check, which, from what I'm seeing, some of the folks commenting on that, that's absolutely true. Only a few select people got them. So, apparently, either my $8,000 check never arrived or for some reason I was disqualified. Yeah. Like I said, sometimes you just go with the flow. Whatever's going on, you just don't worry about it. I hope you can't hear all my sniffing with the allergy business going on. It is driving me nuts. You know, and of course you have the sinus headache that goes along with it. And I don't know what Izzy is doing back there, but I keep hearing her Mule. I'm wondering if she's checking out the birds. Sometimes when the birds are out there, she talks to them that way. She doesn't do, you know, a lot of cats do that. Neither one of these do it. Oh. Turned around, Ronin turned around and looked at me like, what are you doing? When I made that noise. Neither one of them do that. But they will talk to them. I'll hear them, you know, make little, like, mewling noises. Yesterday, when I went to go shut the blind over here on this window, and I do that generally about 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, because it's starting to get a little on the less sun coming in. Well, when I had done that, there were 6 deer outside this window. And one of them was just staring in at me as I was standing there. So I took a few minutes to film, about a minute filming them. And of course, then Izzy had to get in the windowsill. And she just wanted pets. She didn't care about the deer, but so she got a little bit of a pet session while I was trying to film the deer. It always amazes me to see that many deer out there. And yes, the weeds are high, the grass, what little grass there is out there is high. And I haven't started on the knotweed that is in the front section. Been working on the back and the back side. So that's up good and tall. And of course, they still won't eat that, but they'll eat everything else out there. They just don't mess with that. And I really wish they would. So I'm hoping tomorrow that first thing in the morning I can get up and get out there and do a little bit of weed eating. I haven't done any this week because I was concerned, you know, especially after the eye thing and not being able to see well. Even though I wear eye protection, I was worried about not seeing well enough to be able to, I guess, guide the weed eater, for lack of a better word. So, and I also need to spray in that area where the weeds are coming up on the sidewalk. That drives me nuts. Seems like they grow faster than I can pull them. And I am out there quite frequently, pulling here and there until it gets too hot and I have to come in. And with my allergies being worse off today, that means I also have more ringing in my ears. I did see a sort of remedy for that I was going to try, but I haven't gotten the rest of the items that you need for it. One is mineral oil, because do you have an issue with a lot of wax buildup, and also my ear itching quite a bit. So this remedy calls for putting in a couple, I think it's 1 milliliter of hydrogen peroxide, letting that work its magic. That helps to heat up the wax. But then you have to follow it up with some, I think it was a mixture of nasocort and mineral oil that you blend up and put a couple of drops in your ear after that, after it's dried up a little bit. So I don't have mineral oil and I don't have nasocort, so I need to get both of those to see about doing that little trick. See if that helps a little bit. Anyway, that was one of those things that, supposedly it clears up some of your tinnitus if you have it. So maybe when I'm out and about next week, I will stop and pick some of that up. Give it a shot. See how that goes. I did manage to remember to put those shout-outs the other day on there. All right, folks, I need to pause you for a moment because I'm about to run out of time. And I do plan on giving you another little round of shout-outs today. But I think I want to get to the point where I'm ready to finish, where I finish off this join. So I've got a couple more granny stitches to put in here before I join the next color. So I'll just work a little bit until I get to that point. I had someone that suggested a movie to watch today, and I realized I don't think I've ever seen this movie, and it's Hacksaw Ridge, which basically was about a gentleman he became a war hero, Second World War, if I remember correctly, is what they were telling me. But when he had entered the war, I believe he was Seventh-day Adventist, and because we got on a discussion about Seventh-day Adventist. So he was a conscientious objector, although he had joined the army. I believe it was the army. And they didn't know what to do with him. But in the long run, he became a decorated war hero along the way. And it's just an interesting story, supposedly, about him. Good movie. So that's my plan for this afternoon, because I can't get out there with the heat. But I can do that after I've swept up the kittens. And so let me join my next color. I am using this. I think it's a Bernat. Might be a, it's kind of soft, so maybe I love this yarn. I don't know. I have no label for it. I have no clue It's one of those that has the white, the off-white with the brown and tan flecks. So that's what I'm going to use for this next round. So let me get it joined and started for a couple of granny stitches. And then we'll get to the shoutouts. So are there any movies that you recommend to be watched? We were talking about the, like I was telling you, we got on this conversation about Seventh-day Adventist. And my grandmother was a Seventh-day Adventist, and so was my mother. But my mother turned away from the church when she, at 17, was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And of course, the church was shunning my grandmother and my mother from church because they had sought medical advice, and that she was also taking insulin to help with her diabetes. So church kind of turned away from her. And then if I remember correctly, my grandmother joined a different church. I don't know whether it was Reformed Seventh-day Adventist, or I mean, she stayed within that Seventh-day Adventist. I do have both my grandmother and my mother's Bibles, which the Bible that they used was a Holman Bible. And with some of the notes that my grandmother had written, in the Bible, some of the things that would be heresy if the Seventh-day Adventist leaders saw, where she questioned some of the teachings. But, it is what it is. But we had gotten on that discussion, so that's where the movie came in, and we talked about it and that kind of thing. But are there any other movies that you think are worthwhile to watch these days? And if they are, leave a comment down below about the movie that you think would be one that you would absolutely watch in a heartbeat. I know my favorite movie of all time is The Last of the Mohicans. Always has been. I think it's a great love story. I think it also talks about some of the history of the Mohican tribe. And so that's just one of my favorite movies of all time. And I can watch that over and over. Along with the Harry Potter series, yes, I can watch those over and over again. It's taken me 3 years to where I can get back to watching them again. Thomas used to enjoy watching them every day while he was going through his cancer therapy. And I believe there is a channel still that plays them daily, each one, throughout the whole series. So that was, it took me 3 years to be able to get back to where, yes, I can sit down and watch a Harry Potter movie and be okay with it. But, yeah, so what are some of the things that you like watching as far as movie goes? I do know that I have enjoyed watching The Chosen quite frequently. I was a little disheartened to find that, because I've generally gone to the Angel Studios to watch it there. But now I think they had a break, and now it is done exclusively on Prime Video, which is fine. I don't mind doing that. And I think they still offer it through thechosen.org. But generally I watch the free versions. I don't mind commercials. Gives me an opportunity to get up and go pee. That kind of thing. So, yeah. what are some of the things that you watch? I do know a lot of people have been recommending Straw. I haven't had a chance to watch it. I don't usually pay for a lot of streaming services just because I think that, what am I going to say? Generally, when I get in there and I pay for a streaming service, there's one or two things that I like watching. Then after that, it's just all crap. So that's just the way it seems to go for me for these different services. But yeah, give me some ideas what you're watching. Like I said, I don't normally watch TV news, the TV a whole lot, but every once in a while I like to sit down and watch some different things. And generally I will go to Amazon and watch different things on Prime. All right, you ready for some shout outs? The first one is Crochet with Ice. Now, I never could find out what her name actually was. Maybe it's Ice, I don't know. But she says she's always crocheting. She has free patterns tutorials that are available on her channel. The next channel is Let's Yarn Over. This is Dong Young Thoi. From the name, it looks like it's either Korean, one of those Asian type names. Crocheting is her meditation, the joy of crochet in its simplicity. There is only ever one stitch in work and just a few variations of the basic stitches to master. But the possibilities of using and combining those stitches together are endless. So let's yarn over with me. I do like her premise, the way that she does that. Then there is Silvana Crochet Studio. Never did get a first name there, but whether you're a beginner or experienced crocheter, she has a lot there to offer with a lot of variety of free patterns, detailed tutorials, and creative crochet projects, from cozy ear warmers, hats, to intricate bags. You're going to find step-by-step written also on her website as well. Okay, the next channel is Simply Daisy, and this is Daisy. If you like to crochet or want to learn, you're in the right place. The next channel is Gum Leaf Crochet and Yarn. This is Jill. She is a lover of crochet. She likes to help you create your own crochet from her patterns, and she also does hand-dyed yarn. She also loves nature, and she is an Australian by nature. Then there is Snowfly Studio. This is Vanessa, and she says she's trying to figure out life, just starting crochet business and also does stickers. She skates, she does art, she loves sports and sports science. So check her channel out. Then there is Knit with Juliet. This is Juliet, and she is a knitter based in the UK, Cambridge exactly. So you're going to find a lot of knit tips and just talk with her. Then there is Auntie Nat's Crochet. This young lady is addicted to crochet. I'm assuming her name is Natalie. Never could see where she gave her first name completely. She is crochet addicted and loves to explore new crochet ideas. She started crocheting and making videos about it since about 2022. She had the YouTube account many years ago, but it was inactive. So now she is using that platform to crochet and show you what she's doing and different tips and tricks. The next channel is Kaivan Life. This is Kaivan, I want to say Kaivan. I don't think it's Kaivani. She is from Kentucky. She does a lot of crochet markets and different blogs, talking about prep, getting ready, those kind of things. So give her a look-see as well. Then there is Knit Spin Fiber. This is Kim. She is a grandma, mamar, to 4 boys and 2 girls. She's been knitting and crocheting, and she loves all kinds of different crafts. She's also on Instagram as Knit Spin Fiber, and the fiber is Fibre. And she's also on Ravelry, and that's under that same name. So give these ladies and folks a look-see. Maybe you'll find a new favorite to watch, or maybe you'll find some new tips and tricks and something that interests you. All right, that is it for today's video. Everybody have a great weekend. Have a great, safe, and happy 4th of July, and enjoy the celebration. But always remember those that served in our country, but also died for our freedoms. From the very beginning, 1776, clear up to our current day. All right, guys, see you again soon. Bye.